Everyone, I'm Steve Langdon, Regional Director at Para Analytics for Europe and Australia, and we are delighted to be joined here today by Marty Benson, the Executive Producer of MasterChef Australia. Marty, I know you're so very busy with pre-production on next year's show right now, but thanks so much for taking time out to talk to us, and welcome to yet another video call in 2020.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Nice to see you, Steve.
The reason we're speaking today is that MasterChef Australia is a front runner for most in-demand reality series for our Global TV Demand Awards virtual festival. Now, this means that your show is up there with Keeping Up with the Kardashians and America's Got Talent, which is remarkable and something that I'm excited to talk to you today about. So the Global TV Demand Awards are really unique in the fact that the finalists and winners are determined by actual audience demand. So we measure this data all year long through billions of data signals from all over the planet, and then we tally up the numbers to determine which TV series are truly the most popular around the world. So there's no judges, no voting committees, and it's truly audience measurement. So it makes it even more meaningful that we're sitting down with you today, Marty, the EP of a show that's achieved not only success with Australian audiences, but is resonating so well globally. And I know, for instance, that it's been recognised at the Venice TV Awards as Best Light Entertainment Show, amongst many others. Globally, MasterChef Australia is tracking at 8 times the demand of the average show in our entire database across all genres, and we constantly track about 10,000 shows worldwide. That makes it an outstanding show in our global database. At one point, it was tracking at 11 times the average show, and compared to all other reality series, it tracks year to date at a whopping 30 times greater than the average reality show worldwide. It is also by far the biggest traveling version of the MasterChef format show anywhere in the world. So you're right now in production on your personal 7th year of MasterChef Australia, a format that's available in over 50 countries around the world. Now, we at Para are able to track exactly how each country's version travels around the globe, and there is just no competition. MasterChef Australia is by far away the #1, particularly in 2020. So why do you think that your show drives local ratings so well, yet also manages to shine on a much more challenging global stage?
So every few years, there's a MasterChef worldwide global conference where all the exec producers from all the countries that make the show meet up and they discuss what they are doing, and we talk about what we do well, and we give each other ideas. And for me, one of the reasons why I think we in Australia do it well is just because I think we've got the right balance between food and entertainment. It's interesting, we sit somewhere in the middle between the Brits and the Americans. The Brits, their kind of motto is slow and boring. When you watch British MasterChef, you hear a voiceover. It's a bit more like a documentary, and it's like, now Marty's going to peel a lemon. And then you see Marty peeling a lemon. In America, it's a bit more like watching The Voice, you know, where they're choosing judges and they're having to select who they want to go with. And there's this whole kind of American, will they go with Gordon? So we sit somewhere in the middle. It needs to be exciting and entertaining, but it also has to be all about the food. So yeah, I'm very proud of what we produce here.
So we saw at Parrot during the lockdowns around the world that people were absolutely flocking to familiar favorites and comfort blanket television in huge numbers. Do you think that that situation helped the series be so successful in 2020? And did you adapt anything during the filming period, knowing that the mass impact a show like this could have on Australian psyche at a very difficult time?
Well, we had to adapt because we had to put in measures. You know, we had to become COVID safe, but we had to also change our plan for the series. We had planned to do an Australia-wide week where we were traveling all around the country. Suddenly, we couldn't move. We had lots of. We had to change the creative for the back half of the season, because we suddenly realized that we have to, if we want to finish this season, we've just got to stay in the kitchen. And we know when we're filming 66 episodes a season, it's often good to get out and about at least once a week, and at least for 1 week in a season, just to do a trip somewhere. So we realized that what we had to do is we had to change our offsite challenges because there was no restaurants to film in. But I do think, to answer your first question, I do think it helped that people were at home, but I don't, but you can see, and you would see, not all TV shows were successful. You had to produce good TV shows, so I think that it's, even though our numbers, I do think the situation, the COVID situation, the lockdown situation helped us. I think that had we not produced a high quality show, people would have watched something else because there's so many other things to watch. So yeah, yes, it helped us. I think a few other things helped us. Obviously, we had new judges, so at the beginning of the season, people were intrigued to see whether they were any good or not, and that was one of my greatest achievements. I think is being part of the team of people that put together this new threesome, because they're bloody fantastic. And we knew they had to be good from the off. They couldn't chug out the start. They had to just be good from the beginning. So, they're so natural, all three of them. They're so confident in their own ability to critique dishes. So, yeah, the new judges, COVID absolutely threw a huge spanner in the works. So we just had to focus on creating new, exciting challenges inside the kitchen without feeding diners. So it was a real big challenge. But I've got a core creative team of about 5 people, and we lock ourselves in that corner room until we come up with new, fresh ideas.
That's great. And talking about those, that refresh of the judges, that was obviously a pivotal moment for you and the team that you've expressed there. I read that you screen tested many in the new judges, and you had to build strong relationships. What were you looking for in those key new faces, and how did you balance the opportunity to freshen up the show while not losing your loyal core viewers?
Well, that what the first question, the first thing was we asked ourselves the question, who has been the most successful past contestant? So we wanted a past contestant. We thought it would be good just to keep that kind of, like, keep it in the MasterChef family. And Andy Allen had become a partner in Three Blue Ducks, a very successful, I wouldn't call them a chain, just group of restaurants. And he had won a chef's hat. He's the first contestant, first past contestants have won a chef's hat. And he'd also gone on the ultimate journey. When he joined us 8 years ago, he was an electrician, and now he's a partner in a restaurant chain, and he's got his own chef's hat. So we thought, and also he's incredibly relatable. He's a total Aussie ocker, how you going, good all round guy. So we knew we wanted Andy. We also knew that this is MasterChef, and we need one of the country's best chefs. So there's only 5 or 6 chefs in the country that have got 3 hats, and so we looked at who they were, and we kind of invited many of them to put their hat in the ring, so to speak. But being a fellow Scot, me and Jock have built up a relationship over the past few years because he's been a guest on the show. And Jock's the one for me that has stood out for quite a few years. I don't know if you'll remember, but in season 11, he came in and did it was episode 43, season 11. We did a native ingredient challenge, and Jock came in as a guest, and he ran the show. And Gary, Matt, and George were still here, but Jock just came in, and it was literally his episode. And I remember making a note that day, and it was basically, if the judges were ever to leave, he would be top of my list. So Jock was always in the frame, and we knew woman, at least one woman. We looked at many variations. So yeah, and honestly, Melissa was by far the best female person that we screen tested, like by miles. She just you didn't have to train her. You know, we hired a kitchen in South Melbourne, and we brought in up many of our food team to cook dishes, and we sent many different people around to talk to these people and on camera to screen test them with Andy, with Jock. And Melissa just got it from the first time. I didn't, I saw her on the chef's line, but I didn't know her and until we got her into the screen test. And I was just like, wow. Off camera, I wasn't sure whether she would like really pop. And then on camera, as soon as she's on camera, we were just like, she is just brilliant. And we also thought it was important. It's important not to have three chefs because if we've got three chefs, and this was part of the genius in Gary, Matt, and George as well. If you've got three chefs, you're not that relatable. You know, when you've got somebody that's not a chef, but somebody that just knows a lot about food, it just, you know, Melissa's there to paint the picture. You know, the chefs are there to talk about the, you know, that needs a bit more acid or it needs a bit more this and that. But what Melissa does is she paints the picture. She tells you because you can't taste the food, so you've got to listen to the critique. I think it's when you look at the analysis of our daily figures, actually, which I get sent from the network, our numbers always go up. Like our figures always go up in the tastings. You know, people love to hear what the judges are going to say about the food. It's much more interesting than just watching people kind of fry an egg or whatever, or chop an onion. We brought them into the studio here and we did some more testing with the three of them. And by lunchtime, we were convinced. We weren't even worried, you know, because we had that. I remember one of the things Jock said to me when he first came to talk to me about coming on the show was, look what's happened to Top Gear. How can you guarantee that this can't happen to MasterChef? And I'd said to him, you've just got to trust us. I said, we know what we're doing. We have an amazing format and we have got a threesome that we really believe in. So as long as you can come in and just be yourself, and that's the secret to it. They don't get fed lines. They just go for it, you know. And we come up with the creative. They taste the food, and between us all, we make a brilliant show. And I think that they have brought new life to it. I think we were lucky because you know you kind of make your own luck, but in a way, we were lucky that the network said to the other three, "It's time to move on." Because it's just injected fresh energy, and you know, there's no reason why they can't be with us for another 5-10 years. You know.
I read that you have a rule that we don't eliminate people, we eliminate dishes, which I think you spoke about earlier, which is a terrific way of building a show that, in my opinion, celebrates like humanity. Tell me more of those rules that you have that guide you and the team.
Well, we don't cast for character. When I say we don't eliminate, the judges don't eliminate on personality. I always remember there was a contestant that we had in season 8. She won. Her name was Billy Mackay, and she was a quiet girl from the country, and she was petrified of the judges. And every time you're in an elimination, you've got to walk into that room with your dish, sit down, and talk to them. And I said to her, I said, Billy, like, and I'd always say to them before they go in for that chat, just be honest. You know, that's all we care about because if you're honest, then you've got nothing to worry about. She said to me, my problem is, Marty, I'm just a shy girl from the country and I feel intimidated. And I said to her, just say that to the judges. Just when you drop that dish down and they ask you for an answer, because I said, because show is not about personality. And the reason why people fall in love with the contestants is because they're on air every night of the week for 3 months. You know, the ones that last a long time, you really get to know them. If you watch this show every night of the week and you're 2-3 months into it, you're like, you just love Billy because she's shy and quiet. But if it was only a 12 episode series or a 15 episode series, you don't get the opportunity to get to grow to love the contestants and to see the journey they go on. That's the secret to MasterChef Australia's success, really. So yeah, we don't cast for character, and with the judges only eliminate dishes. They're absolute rules. And the other rules are you must not touch your dish after the time stops. It's like sport, and I've always loved my sport, and this is the closest I've ever been to working in sport. I don't see this as a reality show. I see this as a cooking competition. And it is like, it's like when the judges say the time starts now, it's like the referee blowing the whistle at the start of the game, or the horn blowing at the start of the AFL. And when time is up, and there's nothing else can happen after that. I was asked when I started the show, I was told, like, when we've got 24 contestants, it takes 5 hours to taste their dishes. And I thought I would be sticking pins in my eyes with boredom. It would be like watching paint dry. And I'm 7 years in, and I've never been bored for a second on this show. Never.
So come on then, give us a glimpse of the show in 2021. What can we expect? How are you going to step it up again, Marty?
Well, we've got what choice have we got? I tell you, we've just done an amazing thing. But first of all, I can tell you that because of COVID and because of the new, fresh excitement for the show, because of the new judges, we have got the best cast ever. A lot of people have applied because they've realized that they don't know what's going to happen in the world, and there's so many people that are passionate about food. We'll never be short of contestants, but this year there's people that have lost their jobs due to COVID, and there's people that have just realized that they've got to just follow their passion, because the world is so unpredictable. They've got to just take this opportunity and go with it. The sort of people that come on our show are the sort of people that go to bed at night thinking, what are they going to cook tomorrow? And then they wake up in the morning and they write a shopping list. And then they go to work, do their normal jobs, and they sit at their desk thinking about what they're going to do when they go home, in terms of cooking. And these people have applied this year, which is so exciting. We've got obviously we've got, like, from young to old, not really that old, to be honest, but we've got lots of, like, there's lawyers and medical students and not just law students, but actual lawyers and pharmacists that have actually gone, I just can't do my job anymore. I just think about food. So we've got the most incredible cast. And I can say we're 2 weeks into the series now, and the food is just beyond what I could possibly have imagined. And I was worried because the new judges came in last year with the back to win contestants, all the tried and tested contestants who've done well before. And so I was worried that this level of food would go down, and that would bring them down, because if you try eating bad food all day long, it puts you in a bad mood. You cannot hide that. But the contestants are unbelievable. And the other thing that we're doing is we're just embracing um, the world that we're in. So, we've just had Super Week. So we can't fly in Nigella or Histon or Yotamotolengi or Massimo Bottura. But what we can do is we can do live links with them. They can set challenges and they can be very much a part of these challenges. And so what I mean by that is, like, so Yotamotolengi, for example, he's with us. I mean, the technology is unbelievable. You've got 3 judges standing there and a screen next to them, and it's as if he's in the room with them. And Yotam will set a challenge for the contestants, but whilst doing that challenge, he'll cook. He'll do the challenge himself. So so what our challenge coming up with this week, this Superstar Chef Week, was, we can't just have guests that are just there at the top of the episode just to say what the challenge is. If we're going to have international guests like Heston and Nigella and Yotam, they've got to actually be part of the challenge up until the tasting. The technology is not there yet for them to taste from a million miles away, but that's super exciting. We are going to go on a domestic trip this year, which is very exciting. I can't say where yet, but the contestants are amazing. The judges, they've got ownership of the cast this year. So last year they didn't choose the cast. This year they've selected. We got our the best bunch, around 50 of them, and the judges have then selected the cast. So they've got a real deep connection with the cast. And for them, that's more exciting than actually bringing back all the back to win contestants, because the back to win contestants were amazing, but they all came with an agenda and a brand, as Jock said, you know. And Brendan Pan came back with his dumpling business, and he just wanted to cook dumplings every day to boost his dumpling business. These contestants here, they're all here. They're searching to find what their brand is, but they just want to learn as much as possible. So, you know, in week 3, our challenges are all devised in a way for the judges to help the contestants do well in the show, you know. And so we've got just amazingly exciting, creative new challenges, the best cast ever, and 3 judges that are so into what they do. Um, they've made me more into what I do.
And an EP who is clearly very, very passionate about what he does as well.
Yeah, I my difficulty in life is being as passionate about my family as I am my work, you know. And so every night when I drive home, I remind myself that energy that I give to my work, I need to give to my family as well. Because I say it to contestants as well, the worst thing you can do is be on MasterChef for 6 months and then go home and just be so into yourself and your social media following that you stop giving your kids and your partners love. So that's that advice that I give to them. I give it to myself a lot. It's important.
Yeah, wise word. And finally, Marty, the question that frankly we all want to know the answer to: are you and the MasterChef Australia production crew the most well-fed in television? Where do all those amazing leftovers go, please?
Well, we support Second Bite, the charity. So a lot of the leftovers go to Second Bite. A lot of the other leftovers go to the contestants to practice. But we are well fed. We're catered for, but we don't get to eat the contestants' dishes. They have to be kept for the judges. You know, we call it our little cooking show that we make up here in Flemington, and we're truly honored that it's shown around the world. And it's just amazing when you think about it. You know, when I hear that, oh, we've just launched season 12 in India, and we've just launched and it's just finished in South Africa, and I get all these comments from my friends and family in the UK telling me how much they're loving the show, and they're asking me, are we getting Junior MasterChef? I'm like, it really is, you know, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Oh, mate, thank you so much, Marty. It's been a pleasure having you as part of the Global TV Demand Awards Virtual Festival, and remarkable to watch the sustained popularity of the show, not only in Australia, but all the way around the world. Thank you for your time today.
No problem. Please do get in touch. I'd love to show you around up here.